Prisons recently gained the dubious distinction of holding a larger share of the population than in China and the US. That's according to the official newspaper Российская газета. Despite President Medvedev's recently declared reform of the prison system, the country's jails still seem to be overfilled.
Now to discuss this further, we're joined by our correspondent Peter Oliver. Hello there, Peter. First of all, why is this going to be a very difficult issue for the government to try and address?
Well, very simply, Neil, the first thing that has to be looked at is nobody really seems to know just how many people are involved in the Russian prison system at the moment. In that interview you just mentioned there, a major Russian newspaper, the deputy head of the Russian prison service, Valery Karev, said that he believed that there was around 2 million people currently involved at some level in the Russian prison system. Now, the current official figures that were on the Russian Prison Service's website put that figure closer to 860,000, and then there's numerous independents who put the number somewhere in between. So before they begin to even really start looking at making the prisons better, they need to know just how many people they're actually dealing with who are involved in the prison system at the moment. Another problem that was brought up in the interview in the newspaper by the deputy head of the prison service was that about 40% of Russia's prisons are in need of massive amounts of redevelopment. A lot of the actual buildings were actually constructed either in the late 19th century or early 20th century. So it's a system that really they need to find out how many people are involved in the prison system and look at the actual buildings themselves.
Well, that being said, and Don, how do they plan to reform the system?
Well, just earlier this month, President Medvedev announced that he signed off on issuing less custodial sentences for minor crimes. Now, these less custodial sentences would take the form of house arrest, where the person who'd been convicted of a crime would be electronically tagged and have to face stringent curfews, have to inform the police of their whereabouts at all times, whether they change their job, whether they change their house where they live. What will happen is if they also stray out of a certain area, an alarm will go off, they have to wear these tags. Now, these tags have been used in the United States and across Europe. In the UK, though, they did come in for a lot of criticism. They come in for some criticism because one of the main demographics that they're looking to use these tags on are young offenders. Now, this is people who commit the crimes that are going to be in line for these electronic tags and this house arrest are crimes like fraud, like libel, like minor theft and minor assault. Now, young offenders in the United Kingdom, these electronic tags in some parts of the country did actually become something of a badge of honour, like the failed ASBO system, the antisocial behaviour order, whereas children, young offenders on estates in inner city areas seem to want to try and gain one of these tags or one of these antisocial behaviour orders to gain some kind of social respect in their communities. Well, it also seems, though, that if these tags are to work, the only times they ever seem to work is how the police respond to them once they are set off. If somebody doesn't sign in, somebody doesn't call in, or doesn't answer the call that they're given, or they stray outside the certain area, how quickly the police can respond to that. Otherwise, the tags can sometimes be deemed just about worthless. Another option was to have privately run prisons. Now, yet again, this has come in for criticism from people saying that if the prison system was taken out of the hands of the government and put into the private sector, it could leave itself open to corruption.
Yeah, with details of plans to try and improve Russia's overburdened prison system, that's our correspondent Peter Oliver. Thank you very much.